you can see that education is also one of the key. Education system is how to create the next society, the next knowledge worker to taking care of the development. I would like to ask you a question, because you mentioned about from kindergarten, start from kindergarten, from grandchild, for my child.
Not yet, I'm looking forward to
Or looking forward. What recommendation you can think of for the education system, Hong Kong? I will even maybe a little bit bigger, not only Hong Kong, about the society of the world. What should be to enhancing to have a soulful heart to be a knowledge worker for tomorrow?
I would like
Please.
to go back to the point of intellectual curiosity on the part of our students. You see, there are certain weaknesses among our students. I want to be more critical today because we want an exchange.
Yeah,
Obviously, we are all proud of Hong Kong, and therefore there's no point on us telling how good we are, but it's more worthwhile to examine our weaknesses so that we can improve.
Yes.
Compare with Western students, even compare with students from the other little dragons of Asia, we tend to be weaker in terms of communication skills. You can easily tell that our Hong Kong students don't do so well when we are asked to stand up and make a presentation of 3 minutes. I tend to believe that mainland students, Taiwan students, and Singaporean students do better. We are not so good about teamwork as well. So these are the aspects we need to improve. What exactly do I mean by intellectual curiosity? As a teacher for more than 3 decades, I normally have a sense of dissatisfaction when our students come into a tutorial class and keep relatively quiet. I think there must be a kind of curiosity, a kind of enthusiasm to engage in an exchange of ideas. I once wrote a small column in a newspaper on dinner parties given by senior officials, and I said the best kind of dinner parties is that you have a gathering of great minds, and you go in, and after dinner, you feel you have learned a lot from the participants, and this is a most satisfying experience. And this is also a test on the part of our students. I mean, if they go in a tutorial class well prepared with some ideas to exchange, and after the tutorial class, they feel they have gained by learning a lot from their fellow classmates. This is a good test of intellectual curiosity and being satisfied. And this goes back to, where do we get our satisfaction from? I think as educated people, as knowledge workers, I think we should feel that a lot of satisfaction comes from learning from each other. And this is, I won't say lacking, probably inadequate on the part of our students. We are probably prosperous enough. Now our tertiary education system is moving from 3 years to 4 years, and I think most universities have the ambition of trying to encourage the students to at least spend 1 semester, half a year abroad in a 4-year period, and we try to get the financial resources to help them and so on. This is all very good, and most students seem enthusiastic. Professor Wong, Mr. Wong also mentioned about exchange students. We have a lot of exchange students in our campuses, and one of the sad things is that they don't interact very much with our local students. Our local students don't bother to approach them and ask them, where you come from? I mean, you come from France, and they try to learn something about French customs, French culture, and so on. No. A lot of the times, exchange students tend to stay on their own, and our local students tend to stay on their own. And this shows a lack of intellectual curiosity. I mean, our students love exchange programs. They can go abroad for half a year. But all the time, we have various foreign students on campus, and they don't even bother to talk to them. They don't even bother to learn from them, to form teams with them, and so on. And I think this is a real challenge ahead for us. To some extent, we may have become complacent. You see, about 20 years ago, I remember a front page of a Far Eastern Economic Review issue. It's about the rise of South Korea. And the quotation front page was that the Korean workers think that the Japanese are lazy. That phrase, that statement, fully reflected the rise of South Korea. And now, sadly, to tell you, most of our mainland students in Hong Kong think Hong Kong students are not serious enough. So this is a warning signal to us. We may become complacent. We may become a little bit lazy. We lack the kind of spirit. We lack the kind of intellectual curiosity. And this is something that we all education workers have to spend efforts on. And this is one of the things that in striving to be a knowledge economy, we must keep that spirit.
Thank you very much. Any comments?
Yeah, I think that is very true. And say the products of secondary school will become yours, say, input. And I think today's problem is how to prepare the primary school and the secondary school proper say to have a better program, or say we have to change. But the further problem is the existing teachers and in the secondary school or primary school is not really well aware of that. And of course, if we had to change, the government had to put resource so that we can have enough resource to change and to upgrade our way of teaching. And the use of ICT in the primary and secondary school is very important. However, I can see that when the government or we mentioned, say, the school had to adopt ICT, the barrier is not always from the students, but from the teachers, because the teachers will really afraid that, say, the ICT will really, the internet will really become one of their future burden, because the students will no longer depend on the teachers in getting knowledge. In the past, the teachers have the authorities because they own the knowledge. And therefore, I think definitely internet is not only impacting the family, but the school and the business sectors. Therefore, I think as a government had really set policy how to change the mindset of the existing adults to have a new way of communicate with those new generations. Otherwise, this internet impact will make a big gap between these two generations.
Actually, last week, we just have a meeting with Education Bureau, some of the senior officials. And one thing is that I believe, I just recall, you mentioned about teachers, maybe the barrier. And maybe we too emphasize on the skill set, but we cannot turn the mindset. The skill set, they would think how to get things more easily done, but actually, to get more work need to be done before get on the easiness. But you can turn the mindset right, you can energize yourself to react, to improve yourself, to make a better way. Maybe we're really lacking some of the mindset work for the teachers nowadays. How about Mr. Wong?